Inuarata no Sahai, East Miami Ebone, and I especially welcome you to this segment of the program. And we have been on our emotional intelligence series, driving workplace effectiveness, team effectiveness, organizational effectiveness with emotional intelligence. And last week I started the fifth component of emotional intelligence, which is social skills. And social skills is your ability to be able to effectively manage relationship towards achieving desired outcome. As a leader, it is very important that in that work environment, in that organization, in that team, in that system, it is very important that you are able to effectively manage relationship in order for you to achieve desired outcome for the team, for the organization, and for that system. Now, social skills is the coming to life of the other four components of emotional intelligence. Social skills is the other first four components of emotional intelligence coming into physical demonstration. What are the other four components of emotional intelligence? Self-awareness, which help you to be aware of how your emotions impact your team. Self-regulation, which help you to stay composed, which help you to maintain your steez, as we say in our environment, even under pressure. Then we have empathy, which help you, to be concerned with what people are going through. It helps you to sense their needs and sense their perspective. Then we have motivation, which help you to be resilient in the pursuit of goals. And this help you to also inspire your team members to be resilient in pursuit of goals. So as a leader, your effectiveness, your leadership role, your leadership responsibility will no longer just be a function of your expertise. You need to also know how to work with people, work through people, work well with people. And that is where social skills come into the conversation. Social skills is a non-negotiable skill that you must have as a leader in your skill set in order for you to always deliver on leadership expectations. This is very important. And the way we have been handling this series since it started, we have been using case scenario to practically explain the point, explain the concept, so that you have a good grasp of what the concept is all about, and you always be reminded of it in order for you to apply it practically in your organization, as a leader in your team, and in that system where you are working as a leader. Now, the case scenario we are going to use this morning is a very interesting one. It's about the student union government president of a particular federal university exhibiting the emotional intelligence component of social skills. SUG president exhibits emotional intelligence component of social skills. So I'm just going to go through the case scenario, and then we'll see what we can glean from it. A newly constructed 300 capacity lecture theater funded by an international NGO was strategically located on the boundary between the Faculty of Management Sciences and the Faculty of Engineering in the Federal University. Shortly after its completion, a dispute arose. The president of the Faculty of Management Sciences students argued that the lecture theater should belong to their faculty, since most of their lecture courses required such a facility. On the other hand, the president of the Faculty of Engineering students insisted that the facility was more suited for engineering students due to their technical classes and population size. Tensions escalated quickly. Students from both faculties began to exchange hostile remarks. Social media platforms within the school community amplified the disagreement. There were threats of protests and disruption of academic activities. At this point, the president of the Student Union Government, SUG, stepped in. Now, we are going to see how the president of the Student Union Government of this particular federal university engaged the emotional intelligence component of social skills, and it has remember I told you that the emotional intelligence component of social skills is a physical demonstration of the other four components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, and empathy. Social skills bring them to life. Number one, we are going to look at the the first approach that the student union government, president of that particular federal university, first thing he did regarding resolving this dispute. Step 1, self-awareness and self-regulation. The SUG president organized the SUG president recognized the emotional intensity of the situation and acknowledged personal pressure to take sides. However, instead of reacting impulsively, the president deliberately maintained neutrality and composure. During initial interactions, even when both faculty leaders spoke aggressively, the SUG president remained calm, controlled tone and body language, and avoided making premature judgment. Self-awareness and self-regulation playing out. Step 2, empathy and active listening. Rather than imposing a quick decision, the SUG president scheduled separate meetings with both faculty presidents. In each meeting, the president listened attentively without interruption, acknowledging their concerns and frustrations, asked clarifying questions to fully understand their positions. The management sciences president emphasized overcrowded classes and timetable clashes. The engineering president highlighted specialized course needs and increasing students' population. By doing this, both parties felt heard and respected, which reduced their defensiveness. Step 3, effective communication and relationship management. Remember, social skills is your ability as a leader to effectively manage relationship towards achieving desired outcome. And this is what the student union government of this particular federal university exhibited in this case scenario that we are looking at. It's very important you take note of that. Step 3, effective communication and relationship management. After gathering insight, the SUG president organized a joint mediation meeting. At the meeting, ground rules were established: respectful communication, no interruption. The SUG president reframed the issue from ownership to shared benefit. Remember, the management science student faculty president was insisting that they own the lecture theater, that is in the boundary between them and the faculty of engineering. The engineering, students president was equally holding ground that they own the theater, but the SUG president changed the narrative and he pushed it from ownership to shared issue of shared situation. Said the SUG president reframed the issue from ownership to shared benefit, emphasized a common goal, which is improving learning conditions for all students. Using clear and balanced communication, the president summarized both perspectives in a way that showed fairness and understanding. Step 4, influence, collaboration, and conflict resolution. Instead of declaring a winner, the SUG president proposed a collaborative solution. The lecture theater will be jointly managed by both faculties. A structured timetable will be created, allocating usage based on course size and priority. A joint faculty committee would oversee scheduling and maintenance. Peak academic periods like tests and revision would be fairly negotiated. Initially, both parties resisted. However, the SUG president used persuasion by highlighting the risk of continued conflict like academic disruption and loss of goodwill, then emphasizing fairness and long-term benefits, reinforcing shared ownership as a symbol of unity. Gradually, both faculty presidents agreed. Then what became the outcome? The conflict was resolved without escalation into protests or violence. The students from both faculties gained access to the facility in an organized manner. The relationship between the two faculties improved to the joint management structure. The SUG president earned credibility as a fair and emotionally intelligent leader. Now, to conclude, what are the leadership lessons from this case scenario? 3 leadership lessons as I conclude. Leadership lessons from the case scenario. 1, emotional control builds credibility. Emotional control builds credibility. A leader who manages their emotions under pressure creates stability in tense situations. Calmness allows for clearer thinking and better decision making. Take note of that. Then 2 leadership lessons from this case scenario. The second leadership lesson. Listening is more powerful than immediate action. Very powerful. By listening first and understanding all perspectives, leaders reduce resistance and build trust, making solutions easier to implement. Then the 3rd leadership lesson from the case scenario. Collaboration outperforms competition in conflict situations. Collaboration outperforms competition in conflict situations. The best leadership outcomes often come not from choosing sides, but from creating systems where all parties feel valued and included. This is very, very important. Remember, we are looking at the emotional intelligence component of social skills, where all the first previous components of emotional intelligence are physically demonstrated. And this was exactly what the Student Union Government President or this particular federal institution exhibited in managing this situation between the Faculty of Management Science students and the Faculty of Engineering. I believe that profound value have been added to you today. I know you want to send your questions and inquiries across. That is why my email is always there, inuagata@gmail.com, INUAGHATA, inuagata@gmail.com. Send your inquiries, send your questions, and then I provide answers to you, and then we are able to build a better workplace for ourselves, build better, system and society for ourselves, and at the end of the day, build a better country and even a better world for ourselves as well. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday, and when I return, I will still be the amiable Inuagata. No Sahai. God bless you.